Alright, so I feel like we're really starting to get somewhere here with these guys. Don't mind this guy's just for me. I really want to thank you guys for the response to the last video. That was really awesome. It's kind of funny to see the clear distinction between the gunpla and the Warhammer stuff, and I try to keep it interchangeable and make stuff for everybody. But definitely a lot of Aussies and Europeans watching the Warhammer stuff because I wake up and the views are there, which is not necessarily the case with the gunpla stuff. This guy here, I really tried to Maschinen Krieger up a bit, add some gunpla parts. Now the problem with adding gunpla parts, and I remember my friend looking through my parts case before, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense, a lot of stuff isn't in scale, so trying to add a gun or even an armor panel doesn't work. The riveting is a big deal too. A lot of gunpla parts don't have rivets, or if they do, they're indented for panel lining. They're not outwards like a rivet, you know. I'm not sure what these here are. Maybe these are just other portholes, or maybe like some sort of vent. Add another vent up top here. I swapped the antenna for a Rebel antenna from an F-15, I believe, as well as this is from the gun tank origin type. I thought about doing some really goofy stuff. So this is a landing gear from the F-15, and I figured just if it gets toppled over in battle, it can like roll itself back up. I don't think that really makes any sense with physics, and it would obviously just snap off the second that something this heavy falls back, but I think it's really funny, and it has that sort of over-designed stupidity that I like. The back of the cannons from that origin gun tank, these would be like brakes or supports for the feet if it's firing like a really heavy cannon. I did the searchlight to the chainsaw because I figured, you know, if it's cutting through the forest or the woods or people, it wants to see what it's doing. And I think that's most of the modifications I made to the guy here. I did one more armor panel just to cover up where I glued this landing gear on. A little vent. Oh yeah, and some little armor pieces right here. And that's what I mean by indented rivets. My chainsaw fell off, and I guess I didn't do a good enough job gluing that on like that. So that's just a quick re-glue. So I took a note from John B.S. and I lined up these top panels in such a way that it can just be popped on and off, as well as what he did here of not gluing this front part in so that you can paint the computer separately. But this guy's feeling ready for priming pretty much. Maybe I'll add another little piece or two here. Oh yes, I also covered up the hole here because I didn't want to use any of the extra bits. And I used like one part of the Ordnance battery to just make like a little camera or laser or something there. It doesn't blend the best. There's some, you know, maybe I could put super glue in there, but honestly, I don't really mind too much. It just adds more visual interest, especially when it's primed up. Honestly, on this side, it looks worse out of box with those lines at the side because there's a few different modular things that you can plug in there. I actually thought about maybe building out just a little tiny platform right here because like it's kind of sketchy for them to open the door and then hop onto here. I guess this would like go on the ground and then they would hop out, but I think a little platform there, maybe even with a railing, would be pretty funny. I'm really happy with the wheel sticking out the back here. It's very funny. I didn't do too much on the tank, unfortunately. There's actually like not a lot of space to fill that makes sense, or where I wouldn't want to put a decal. I added a little pack here that's supposed to go on the Scout Sentinel. I added some extra fuel tank here. I added this, initially I added this here, and then when I closed the door, or opened the door, there wasn't enough clearance for it to stay flush. And now there still really isn't. Like, I think it lifts up the back of the tank when this opens up. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I don't really know where else this would have gone or can go. There's so much detail on here. I I guess maybe in the front, so it could pull something from the front. I added the little sigil thing there. I added the Predator missile here, as well as a shovel and a sleeping bag or a roll or whatever the hell, some rope. This reminds me a lot of a John BS video, actually, where he was going over painting, I think, this exact piece on a different tank or a different vehicle or something, and painting the shovel and the packs and stuff here. And he was saying that sometimes when they paint the camo over a tank, they'll just end up painting over the pack too. So they would paint over the wrench and over the shovel that's just already on the tank because they're spraying the whole tank. And then maybe, the rope would be real rope. I'm not going to do that. I just thought that's a really interesting note, actually. And that guy, does know a thing or two about what they do on the battlefield. I tried to add it. This would be, I guess, maybe where they pump gas in. I don't know. Something like that. It's weird because this is a round piece, and pretty much nothing on this kit is like fully rounded. It's all kind of angular, but oh well, maybe when it's primed up it'll blend a little bit more. Or I can add something else to that even. But yeah, there's just like not, even up here, I wish, there's a lot of room, but there's a door here. So with the door here, there's not a lot you can do and add. And over here, you need clearance for the weapons. And this, yeah, this I am going to need to paint separately and then just like super glue. Because the cement is really not holding it the right way. And like whatever these little things are called up here, I took those off a gun tank. As well as this comically way too close to the treads ammo pack, I think is very funny. But yeah, those are all the modifications on the tank. I would love to add more bits and bring it more in line with this, but I just could not find stuff to scale that really, really worked. And this can kind of be a bit more vanilla. It's just a troop transport. I'll add a bunch of decals and maybe freehand some stuff on the side, and that'll be that. These are really neat. A little bit smaller than I thought they'd be, but I really like how they look. This one I figured out is a laser gun. And this would just be like a normal cannon, I guess. I like the little screens here. Those will be fun to paint up. I'd like to see if I could paint maybe like a guy watching like something dumb on one of the screens, something just as a joke. Adding antennas on here would be cool too. I haven't quite added anything to these yet, but maybe some stuff on the inside here, as well as there's some space up here as well. But yeah, these, like, whenever I go out to my mom's, who lives outside of the city and in a rural area, I'm always taking pictures of like weird rusted out farm equipment out there. And this kind of ignites my brain because then I'll get to paint it a lot like that and try some of those reference pictures that I've taken. But I think I'm pretty much ready for priming maybe a few more bits on these guys. But yeah, once again, thanks a lot for the response to that last Warhammer video. Yeah, I'm definitely planning a full 1,000-point army, but mostly with proxies for all of the foot soldiers. I just don't want to be paying like $70 for, or way more even for just some little guys. And maybe my mind will change when there's some parts that I really need, but that would be down the line. This project or these vehicles will be enough to sustain me for quite a while, and then I have that box of bodies of guys that I'm going to slowly put together, and I'll show off those bolt action kits when those come in, and I'll put those together with those guys and try to make this cool like Japanese Cadian style World War II-ish army. I'll also say I could look into resin conversion for maybe a few parts on here, some resin parts, but like I said, space is pretty pretty tight. So I think I'll save resin stuff for maybe the foot soldiers, or when I get more comfortable. I think I just want to start getting some paint down on these guys and having fun here. I wish I could get this a bit more flush. I might just have to really like diagnose the problem and see why it's not quite sitting as flush as I want it to. But this is modular anyways, so I'm not too worried about that. That way I can swap this on the tabletop between the two modes. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Expect to see me get some paint down on some plastic next time. And yeah, have a good day.